Hi, you guys. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button, please. Thank you. All right. This video is about Kim Richards, who, the time I knew her, really loved her. Yeah. She has a real sweet heart, and she's very fragile person, but she's just lovely and so sweet. Like, she just really is. Anyway, I was asked to do this video by one of you, and so I'm responding. A lot of people wonder why Kim has trouble staying sober, and also she is got this crazy murder in her past, and some people wonder if it's real, and unfortunately it is. And since the two concepts overlap, her sobriety and this murder are sort of interact together, I decided I would do a video about it for you guys that don't know the story. It might give you some insight into why Kim struggles so much. So Kim Richards is, when she's in her youth, like a hot commodity in Beverly Hills. She's famous for being in movies, she's good looking, and she's in a really well-connected family. So Kim ends up meeting Monty Brinson, who is the heir of a supermarket franchise fortune. And he's also very, like, Southern California, good-looking perfection as a young man. He unfortunately passed away really young, in his early 50s. But she and him get married. And, that works out for a little bit, but then it doesn't. And I'm not going to get into the kids and all that in this video. I'm just going to stick to the men. Okay, so then she ends up getting married to Greg Davis, who's Marvin Davis and Barbara Davis's son. And you have to imagine that her first husband would be like a very powerful family in Beverly Hills, but the Davises are like royalty of Beverly Hills. They own petroleum companies. Anyway, she ends up with Greg Davis and she gets married to him, and then that doesn't work out. And he's a really good looking guy. Just trying to set the picture. She's just with the hot bachelor men of all time in Beverly Hills, right? And that doesn't work. So the story goes, now that you know the two guys, Monty Brinson, who was her first husband, got divorced from Kim because he found out that she was cheating on him by being pressured purportedly by her family, i.e. her mom, to date John Davis. Now, John Davis is Greg Davis's brother, okay? The one that she ends up marrying. And so what happens is she gets caught meeting with John Davis. And the Davis family is so powerful that Kim is being pressured to leave her first husband to be with the second husband because their family is so ridiculous, okay? And so she's rendezvousing with John Davis, but somehow she ends up marrying his brother, Greg Davis. So she switch hits from John to Greg. But the story is that the Davis family thought Kim Richards wasn't good enough for their family. And so they never really approved of Kim Richards being with the Davis, Greg Davis, or John Davis for that matter. And they didn't want her in the family. They were like, ugh, what do we do? Okay. So they basically kind of rooted for the marriage to end, let's just say, because she didn't meet the level that she should have for them. Yeah. So not great emotionally for Kim, I would say. So that marriage. So she gets done that marriage, and almost right after, she's going to an AA meeting because she's now decided to get sober, and she meets John Paulette, was an investment banker, commodities broker, and he was sober for 8 years, and he was very good looking, like all of her last two husbands, I have to add. Like, Kim really should get like an award for dating or marrying good looking men. So what ends up happening is he sees her and yells out of his car. This is the story the mom tells. that, hey, aren't you Kim Richards, I guess, from Witch Mountain, much like me being starstruck by Kim Richards in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 2 when she calls me Pam. He's starstruck and he's like, oh my goodness, you know, I've been in love with you since I was 10. Okay. So this is how they start. Anyway, they begin to date. Now, as the story goes, Colette was an ex-stereo salesman and he was like a fast talker. And he was allegedly involved with one of the largest scams selling, I guess, fake commodities to elderly people to do with oil. And he had a big mansion in Malibu. So he seemed to be like riding really high and, you know, super successful. So Kim's thinking she's got another really successful man who's a commodities. Anyway, needless to say, she fell in love with him. And what was really unique about this relationship is she was sober. And so she and him not only were in love, but they were sober in love, which you might deduce would mean that she actually had serious feelings for him. So this scam was huge. It was like selling oil and gas leases, and there was something like $150 million that had been stolen from people or something, the elderly. But she knew nothing about any of this happening. She was just like madly in love with this guy. So to make it worse, when he's murdered, he's on the phone with her. So what happens is she is on the phone. He is in front of a deli in Northridge, California, and he's, I guess, talking to her. And a man walks up on him and shoots him twice in the head, assassination style, at like point blank range. And he's instantly killed. And Kim doesn't know what's going on, but I would imagine she heard something. And he goes quiet, and she calls the deli like, you know, what just happened? He's missing. I haven't heard from him. He was on the phone. Now he's not. And she finds out that her fiance has been murdered because she's engaged to him at this point. And she's sober at this point. And he's her link to sobriety because he's the one keeping her sober, his mom said. Anyway, it turns out a hitman was hired to murder him. And you know what's weird, you guys? What's really weird? And actually the thing that I wish I could do this video more focused on, but I know you guys are more interested in this story. But like this man, Marvo DeCarlo Johnson, he was hired by someone. He was an assassin. He was poor, and somebody paid him $30K in cash to murder this Colette guy. Okay? And by the way, the police, shortly after this happens, shuts down the brokerage firm that Colette works for, which is obviously involved in this scam. It's not just him. And what's weird is they tried and convicted the man who did the assassination, this Marva guy, but they never found the person who paid him the $30,000 to do the hit. Anyway, the firm he worked for was Parker Bryant in LA, in case you guys want to do a deep dive on that. And it did get shut down. It got shut down shortly after his hit happened. In true Kim form, a man by the name of John Jackson reached out to Colette's mom to buy Colette's Harley Davidson after he died. So the mom was selling his things that, you know, she didn't need anymore after he passed away. And one of them was a Harley Davidson. Anyway, this guy named John Jackson wanted to buy it. So the mom sold him the bike, and she said, you know, you might want to meet Kim Richards. That was his fiance, but she also loved this bike, and you guys seem to have a lot in common. And the mom knew that Kim was devastated from her son's death and thought it would be good for Kim to meet a new man to try to restart. So she introduced her to John Jackson, and then she ends up dating John Jackson. Kim does. So she dates the guy who ends up buying her murdered fiance's motorcycle. I mean, Wow. All the men that I mentioned she had children with, except for Colette, the one that had the hit taken out on him and got murdered. I mean, either she had great taste or not so much, right? I'm not sure at this point how I feel about that. I bet it was a really powerful guy who took that hit out on him, because let me tell you, it's very strange that the prosecutors never found any evidence as to who paid that $30,000 to that hitman. By the way, that hitman came up for parole and didn't get it, just so you know. Thought you'd like to know that. I can't believe he didn't roll over on the person who paid him. I mean, what the heck was going on? That's why I think it's weird. Because wouldn't you think that the hitman would roll over on the guy that paid him unless it was somebody scary? So scary that you wouldn't roll over because you'd be dead in jail. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm leaving that with you, but that's where my mind goes. Anyway, that was pretty much the end of Kim's love life and her commitment to sobriety. You know, she's been fighting it ever since, like, you know, like so many people in Hollywood do. But I have a quick update on Kim in case you wonder. So it appears that Kim is doing good. She did go to Paris Hilton's wedding. She was on Paris in Love. She made a brief appearance on that, and she looks good. Some fans think she's gone to the same plastic surgeon that Kyle did for her nose. Other people think she's messing around with filters. Like me. No, I don't know. Anyway, but she looks good. I don't know. So whatever she's doing, whether it be Facetune or whether it be plastic surgery, she looks fabulous. So congratulations, Kim, on pulling it together. And hopefully she's staying sober, because she's always living her best life when she's like that. She's dealing with a lot of stress, I know, with her daughter having, you know, that raid recently, but I'm sure everything will work out okay in the end. Okay, you guys, be a queen and buy a t-shirt. The link is in the below description if you want to buy one. I designed with some help of some very good artists some fun shirts. I hope you like them. Okay, you guys, bye. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification button too. Am I asking too much?